Hi, Daniel741852 here, and today we're going to be going more over the Marble Blast Toolkit, more specifically the shapes and triggers folder, which we can find in our asset browser here. And we're going to go over how these work and how you can use them in your project. So here's one thing I will say before we get started, is that essentially what we're going to go over is that you can just kind of drop down shapes and put them in your map, and then you can load them in with the create subs button. Same deal with triggers. So if you prefer to do all of this in the level editor or through a hide MB, then honestly you can skip this video. This is like, completely optional if you prefer to do things that way. But before you do that, there is one thing I at least want to cover, and it's scenes, which you see in the top right here. So as you can see, we have our camera, cube, and light. The default's a blender. Let's just press A to select everything, then hit delete. And as you can see, we have scene collection, and then just collection. Let's delete collection as well. And if we right-click scene collection, new collection, let's make a collection called Interiors. Right-click scene collection again, new collection. And let's make another collection called Shapes. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because if we want to create a new interior, which let's do that real quick. Let's do a cube, Marble Blast Gold, and let's just give it grid. I really could care less what it is. Right, find our map. Set all of this to 1 so it can be correct. This is technically our interior, which you can see here. And if we select shapes, we'll now get started on shapes. Once again, let's just focus on Marble Blast Gold. Let's just put a start pad down, because why not? So if I can find the start pad here, start pad MBG. Pop it down right there. And of course, right click, snap selection to grid, just to make sure it's working off the grid. And now if we just simply press these eye looking buttons, it hides everything within that folder. So if you want to hide your objects or your interior, you can do so. And you don't have to have the folder layout like this. You can have as many folders as you want. I just prefer to have my collections separate in two for interiors and shapes, just for the sake of organization. With that out of the way, now you can skip the video if you prefer to do all of the shapes and triggers in game. But if you want to at least give this a shot, then continue. So we have our little basic interior here. We can make this look prettier. Correct face attributes on. And let's just do a little 3x3 here. Okay, we made a really... Oh, whoops. We made a really basic platform here. Start pad in the middle. We just go ahead and put a trapdoor over here. Snap selection to grid. Let's go into orthographic view. If we press Shift D, oh wait, whoops, this is in interiors. Let's move this to shapes. If we click this, make sure it's orange surrounding it, and we hit Shift D, it'll duplicate that object, and you can just do this infinitely. Oh, whoops. Let's just do 5 trapdoors. And that's good enough. So let's just it is a little offset, so if we select Trapdoor MBG, hold Shift, and then select Trapdoor MBG 04, you will see we have all of these selected now. You can tell because they're all orange. So let's go to orthographic view. Let's press G, then press Z, hold Control. There, now it's aligned. Well, let's just grab this platform, Shift D. There we go. It's a very basic It's just a very basic platform from point A to point B, but you'll see how this works exactly. Selection to grid. There we go. We got ourselves a start pad, 5 trapdoors, and a finish pad. Or I guess technically an end pad. I don't know. Whatever. So, let's make sure that's some shapes. Now, let's take a look at triggers. I'm going to be honest. The triggers you are probably going to be using the most are inbounds trigger, out of bounds trigger, and help trigger. And essentially what inbounds is if you get outside of the trigger, you go out of bounds. What out of bounds is if you touch this trigger, you go out of bounds. So it's kind of like the opposite of inbounds trigger. If you touch that, you go out of bounds. If you leave this trigger, you go out of bounds. Makes sense? Awesome. Okay, so here's one important thing I want to talk about when it comes to triggers. Do not edit these in edit mode. Please. Because if you don't, it's not going to scale properly. Instead, you want to do this in object mode, which we can tell we're in right now because of the top left corner here. So, let's go back to orthographic view. G. Let's just put this in the corner here. If we press S for scale, and then just scale it, let's just type 20. Yeah, 20 is good enough. Let's align this. That looks good as is. Let's check this side. Uh-oh. This is kind of small, so let's press S again, but lock it onto the Y-axis. Extend it just a bit. I think 3 is fine. There we go. And now, let's just put a help trigger in here. Right-click, snap selection to grid. And then let's scale this a bit. I think that's fine. 30 by 30. Let's just put this in front of the trapdoor. There we go. Now we have an inbounds trigger and a help trigger. And let's select the help trigger. Make sure there's orange highlighting it. And at the right here, you'll see object. Or let's make sure we're highlighting this. And you'll see there's a property here called text. Make sure you don't touch this at all. And I'll say it again, please do not touch this. This is a very necessary field. Instead, you're going to want to insert your text here. Like, it literally tells you right there. So let's just say, be careful of the trapdoors. Exclamation mark times 3. And there we go. We got a very basic level with very basic shapes. So let's go ahead and export this. So file, export, .dif. And we're going to go ahead and go to interiors_mbg, custom. And let's just save this as Blender shape test. Export diff. Okay, so we're back in our Platinum Quest or Marble Blast Gold, whatever game you're working on. Let's just delete this interior. Let's delete. You know what? Let's just delete the start pad, the end pad, the finish sign, and that's good. So interiors, Platinum data, interiors MPG, custom, Blender shape test 0. F3. Let's put the position to 0, so 0, 0, 0. Apply. And then if create subs, there you go. It created the shapes. I don't know why that trapdoor just went down. Okay, so we got everything loaded in, and if we move forward here, be careful of the trapdoors. It got the trigger in there successfully. And additionally, if we fall off, the inbounds trigger also loaded into. So this is just a showcase of how powerful the Blender tools are when it comes to level editing. And there is one thing worth mentioning. If you use this to put shapes in your level, it will not take rotation into consideration. So let me pause the game and go back to Blender. What I mean by that is if you do this, let's just do random rotations, I don't care. The game's not going to know what the rotations are, so it's just going to put it at the default rotation, which is what you see here. And what you see here as well. We'll just undo everything. That's the default rotation. There's unfortunately no way around that. And if you do rotate your shapes in Blender, just be mindful of that and take a mental note that you have to rotate those manually either in the level editor or HideMB, whatever you prefer to use. Scaling and movement does work, however, which has been proven by both the trapdoors and the triggers. And that's pretty much it, honestly, for shapes and triggers. It's not complicated at all. Just make sure when you're scaling these, do it in object mode. Do not do it in edit mode. Do it in object mode. Because if you do it in edit mode, it's not going to change the transforms at all. So keep that in mind. There is one more thing I'd like to cover. You don't have to do this. It's just something I do. If you go to new collection and just type in triggers, I personally like to put all of my triggers in there. It does get a little bloated at this point because now you have 3 folders to worry about, but it's just what I like to do. I'm a very organized person. Alright, now that's the end of the video. Thank you everyone for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace!